Have you ever noticed that Google seems different somehow? Like the Google we once loved has morphed into something less friendly, something that doesn't have our best interest at heart. Once upon a time, Google was the scrappy underdog, the search engine that promised to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible. But today, many argue that Google has lost sight of its original mission. Instead of being the gateway to knowledge, Google itself has become the gatekeeper. In this video, we'll explore how Google, through endless ads, monopolistic behavior, and a hunger for profit, ended up breaking the very thing that made it powerful: trust. This is the story of how Google fooled the world. The rise of Google. In the late 1990s, Google was revolutionary. Its PageRank algorithm delivered cleaner, more relevant results compared to clunky competitors like Yahoo, Ask Jeeves, or Alta Vista. People fell in love with its simplicity. One white page, one search bar, no noise, no clutter. Google's motto, "Don't be evil," symbolized a new era of technology built on trust and efficiency. But as the company grew, so did its ambitions and temptations. When ads took over, at first, Google ads were small, almost invisible. They didn't interfere with your search results. But as billions of dollars poured in, ads began to dominate. Today, the first page of Google is often a battlefield of sponsored links, product placements, and businesses paying for visibility. This constant commercialization has diluted the integrity of search. For users, it means you're not always getting the best answer, you're getting the answer that paid the most. The irony: the tool designed to democratize access to information slowly became one of the world's most expensive billboards. The death of organic search. Beyond ads, another change quietly transformed Google: the rise of SEO, search engine optimization. Suddenly, websites weren't writing for humans. They were writing for Google's algorithms. Instead of the most honest or helpful content, you often find keyword-stuffed articles, clickbait, and sites designed to game the system. In trying to improve the web, Google inadvertently incentivized manipulation, and in the process, search itself became less authentic. Google versus competition. As Google grew into a tech giant, it didn't just dominate search, it began swallowing the internet. From YouTube to Gmail, Android to Maps, Google built an empire. Competitors were either acquired or crushed. While this ecosystem feels convenient, it raises the question: what happens when one company controls almost all the gateways to digital life? Antitrust lawsuits across the world suggest that governments too are asking whether Google became too powerful for its own good. The algorithm problem. Google's greatest strength, its algorithms, also became its biggest flaw. Search results are filtered, personalized, and sometimes manipulated by algorithms that no one outside the company fully understands. Critics argue that this has led to filter bubbles, where people only see what confirms their beliefs, while smaller creators and independent voices are drowned out. By optimizing for profit, the algorithm has quietly broken the promise of unbiased access to information. The internal struggles, even within Google, cracks began to show. Employees staged walkouts, protested against military contracts, and spoke out about censorship deals. The "Don't be evil" motto, quietly removed from the company's code of conduct. It's as if, even inside Google, people recognized that the company was no longer the Google they had once admired. In the late 90s, amidst the dot-com boom, Larry and Sergey created Google as an antidote to the crass commercialism of the web, with its clean design and academic ethos. Google quickly won over users and became the search engine of choice for a growing internet population. In the early days, the top search results were determined by a simple algorithm called PageRank, which analyzed the number and quality of backlinks to a website, giving higher rankings to sites deemed more relevant. Unlike its competitors who relied on paid listings and keyword stuffing, Google stood out by promising to connect users directly to the most relevant information available. The company's motto, "Don't be evil," became synonymous with its mission to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible. However, as Google grew, so did its ambitions and temptations. After going public in 2004, the pressure to generate revenue intensified. At first, these pressures seemed manageable. Google implemented small, inconspicuous ads that didn't significantly disrupt the user experience. These ads were more of an experiment, a way to test the waters of online advertising without alienating users. But as the money rolled in, things changed. Billion-dollar ad budgets poured into Google, driving a relentless expansion of advertising. Suddenly, the subtle ads became dominating banners, taking over the once clean Google interface. Worse yet, the integrity of search results was compromised. Websites started vying for top rankings based on how much they were willing to pay, not based on the quality or relevance of their content. The insidious nature of this shift was hard to spot. Initially, users didn't notice the subtle changes as Google gradually introduced new ad formats and tweaked its algorithm. What was once a tool for finding the best information became a platform for the highest bidder. Google's iconic simplicity gave way to complexity with sponsored links, knowledge panels, and an array of other features that served primarily to increase advertising opportunities. This transformation wasn't merely about aesthetics or functionality. It was about maximizing profit. Google's advertising model turned the world's information highway into a commercial thoroughfare, transforming the company from a knowledge-based platform into a profit-driven enterprise. But Google's influence extended far beyond search results. As it grew, it began to cast a long shadow over the entire internet landscape. Acquisitions like YouTube, Android, and DoubleClick solidified Google's dominance. In fact, Google's growth strategy involved absorbing potential competitors, eliminating threats, and expanding its empire. This move raised eyebrows regarding Google's monopolistic practices and fueled concerns about unchecked corporate power. Such actions not only shaped Google's trajectory, but also influenced broader discussions about digital monopolies and the need for regulation. As Google expanded its empire, the true extent of its influence became undeniable. With its fingers in numerous pies, Google wielded significant power over the digital world. It controlled the gateways to online information, communication, and services. Raising critical questions about the concentration of power in the hands of one company, this situation not only highlighted Google's remarkable growth, but also ignited debates about the necessity of regulating big tech to prevent abuses of power. At the heart of Google's ascent lay its sophisticated algorithms, the secret sauce that determined which websites topped search rankings. But as these algorithms evolved, they began to be perceived as opaque and potentially biased. The concern wasn't merely about the complexity of these systems, but about their potential to manipulate user experiences. As search results became increasingly tailored to individual users, critics argued that people were confined to filter bubbles, limiting their exposure to diverse viewpoints and reinforcing existing biases. This realization sparked a debate about the role of algorithms in shaping our online experiences and their potential to both serve and control us. Moreover, these algorithmic decisions weren't immune to external pressures. Reports emerged of search results being influenced by factors beyond relevance, such as financial incentives and political considerations. This revelation shook the public's trust in Google's objectivity and raised serious questions about the transparency and accountability of algorithmic decision-making. Internally, Google wasn't immune to the tensions and dilemmas arising from its dominant position. Employees organized protests, pushing the company to be more transparent and socially responsible. Discontent about issues like censorship, privacy, and the handling of user data revealed the internal struggles within Google as it grappled with the ethical implications of its massive reach. Ironically, the motto that once defined Google, "Don't be evil," was quietly removed from the company's code of conduct, symbolizing a stark evolution from its idealistic beginnings. This change wasn't just about semantics, it reflected a growing disconnect between Google's image and its practices. The fall of Google wasn't about its products becoming worse or less effective. In fact, it became incredibly good at what it was designed to do, deliver targeted ads. But the problem was that this effectiveness came at the expense of its core values and the greater good. As Google became a behemoth, it sacrificed the principles that made it successful, leading to a loss of trust and a blurring of its original purpose. Today, Google stands as a cautionary tale, a reminder that even the most innovative and seemingly trustworthy companies can succumb to the allure of unchecked power and profit. Its story serves as a lesson for aspiring tech giants, urging them to tread the path of digital dominance with caution, and to remember that the true measure of success lies not just in profits and market share, but also in upholding ethical standards and serving the greater good. And with that said, thank you for watching. See you in the next one.